As a little boy, I was taught to say sorry when I made a mistake. If I accidentally spilled something, I would say sorry. If I didn't say excuse me and I bumped into you, I say excuse me and then I say sorry. If I didn't want to share my shiny new toy because I simply wanted to play with it first, I had to share it with you and then say sorry. We were all taught that saying sorry was the right thing to do and the first thing you do when you make a mistake. The older you get, the more we drift away from apologizing. But that doesn't necessarily mean the situations that cause you to feel like you need to say sorry disappear. But two things happen. We get better at avoiding those situations, and many simply don't care to apologize like that anymore. Now when you bump into somebody, instead of saying I'm sorry, you may only say excuse me. But depending on how you feel, you may say nothing at all. Personally, I'm not apologizing for every little mistake I make. I carry the same mentality to the stage. A mistake that I never apologize for is not presenting exactly what I wrote during my speech preparation. And I think many speakers fall into this category. We may beat ourselves up because our talk may not be exactly how we wrote it, but is that truly a mistake worth apologizing for? It's extremely important for you to realize what is and what isn't worth apologizing for as a speaker. You making a small hiccup in your talk can turn into many cringe-worthy moments if you're a speaker who still is prone to make many little mistakes and every other minute you apologize for it. Some people don't want to hear any excuses, and other people won't know you make a mistake until you point it out to them. Most of all, you say much more than I'm sorry when you apologize. Depending on what you're apologizing for, it may go something like, I'm sorry, but I didn't get time to prepare like I wanted to. Or, I'm sorry, but I forgot to bring my flash drive. Or even, I'm sorry, but I got my points mixed up. You see, the thing is that when we apologize, we almost always want to give detail into why we're apologizing. But when you are on a stage and time is limited, one small lack of confidence can be a mood killer. I've made plenty of mistakes when giving a talk. I've made mistakes multiple times over in the midst of these recordings. But I'm not going to point them out to you. If you notice it, then cool. If you don't because I keep it moving, then even better. In my mind, I know exactly what I did and I didn't do. But I do my best to never let you know as my audience, which is you, and on how I make a mistake. I've skipped entire points and I had to keep going. Sometimes my teleprompter moves faster than I anticipated, so I have to make up words on the fly. There have been things that happened right outside my window that has thrown off my train of thought, but I still kept going. All these things I could apologize for, some in my control and some not, but ultimately I made the decision that they just weren't worth apologizing for. So you may be thinking, what's worth apologizing for? Let's run through some examples. You should apologize if you offend someone, whether it be because of a point in your talk or disregard for their feelings. Something you shouldn't apologize for is if you miss a point in your talk. A simple I forgot to mention would work. If you don't remember the point at all in the moment, keep going, and the next time around you do your best to correct your mistake. Another thing you should immediately apologize for is if for some reason you're late. This particular scenario has a trickling effect from stressing out the organizers to throwing off the entire conference. And one last thing you shouldn't apologize for is if you're missing a slide in your presentation. You can simply play it off. Yes, it might be obvious to your audience that something is missing, but you can poke fun at yourself and bring laughter and make some people smile. It's all about your charisma in the moment and realizing that you're human and mistakes happen. So keep going. All in all, if you make one or multiple mistakes, it'll be okay. It happens to the best of them. But the best thing I can tell you to do is to keep going. Apologizing in the moment isn't wrong, but do you really need to apologize? If you continue to keep your composure, then the audience will follow your lead and remain comfortable. If all else fails and you feel you need to apologize for a mistake you make in a moment, then make sure you only do it when a mistake is big. Now, of course, I'm not wishing bad luck on you, but yes, mistakes worth apologizing for do happen. But most of all, understand that there's no perfect speaker. There will always be someone who could point out something wrong about a speaker you may deem perfect. The point isn't to be perfect. The point is to be impactful. If you go into a talk worrying too much about making mistakes, then you're setting yourself up for a difficult 45 minutes. But if you go and give your best effort and still fall short in some areas, that's okay. You'll have another chance to improve, and you will improve. If you found this tip useful, please like it and share it. Comment on it as well and let me know what you think. Until next Monday, my name is Julian Leonard, and this tip was brought to you by the J. Leonard Group.